Welcome back on the Faces Crew. It's been a little while since we've done a podcast. But we've been doing cool things, right? Yes. I hope you all enjoyed the Ruby vlog and the Terror Trader investigation / vlog that we just did.
We put a lot of work into those guys, so I think we put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. And for those of you who watched it, thank you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you.
We haven't really talked directly since Ruby, which has been a fucking while. So do you want to talk a little about both experiences?
Yeah, kick us off with Ruby. Well, let me focus our faces here.
No, it is me. I'm in focus now.
Yeah, let's talk about Ruby, because that was a hell of an adventure. And obviously we did, I think, our last real podcast, aside from... that was our last podcast. It was Ruby.
Aside from just being there, yeah.
I was about to say aside from, and then I'm like, we didn't do anything.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we did a lot of videos, we did a lot of content, but the pod, it's been a bit of a pod drought.
It's been a bit of a pod drought,
yes. Right. So the last one we actually did in a ghost town, miles away from anyone.
Yeah.
And that was a very cool experience, and I'm glad we did it. And in retrospect, how fucking crazy was that?
Yeah, it was really out of both of our comfort zones, I think. But I'm super glad we did it. I think some of the excitement obviously didn't totally translate to camera, so that's why I want to talk about it a little bit.
For sure.
It was so cinematic in a way, because there was this like very obvious threshold crossing where we both lost service. Yeah. Like the last half hour or so driving over there,
and it's very surreal because I'm sure, as you guys know, it's like that's a huge part of our lives.
Yeah.
You got your phone. It's the first thing you check in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's like it's on you. It's one of the last things you look at before you go to bed. It's like we're so connected to a point where it's like to a fault, Yeah. And then to actually go through that, like you said in the video, I think in the daytime vlog, it was kind of freeing.
Super freeing. It was nice, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to just be in the moment and being like nature there. And it sounds stupid maybe, but it was really like
it was cool.
It woke you up a little bit in a good way.
Yeah.
And then the nighttime was
terrifying.
Honestly.
Nighttime was crazy.
It was a little scary, especially again, we're inner city dwellers all our lives.
We're city rats.
It was very odd to have it be pitch black and totally silent, and really be out there and just feel vulnerable. I've never felt like vulnerable when I'm sleeping before.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where I almost feel like when you go camping and you're like at a campsite, a campground, you've got other people not too far away, just a stone's throw away. Yeah. Usually 200 feet away there's another trailer or camper or tent or something. Yeah. If you camp, at a camp with cabins, it's like, there's usually people around, there's a door to lock. Yeah. But just being out in a tent and nobody being around, just us. Yeah. That was wild. And knowing that we were just really exposed, there was like that beach area and that lake. And then we were just a stone's throw from Mexico. Right. And it's like, it was the Wild West. Yeah. We were in the Wild West.
Wild West, yeah.
As Wild West as it gets in our modern times.
Yeah.
And we were exposed. We were, It was very eye-opening and very raw.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The two things that were most frightening had nothing to do with the old buildings. Like, the old buildings were cool, but no, the frightening things... Trying to find those graves was terrifying.
Dude, that was legitimately scary. And legitimately dangerous.
Yeah. There was, the whole time there was an undertone of, we could fuck up and get lost and be in serious trouble.
Yeah. Or we could run into a wild animal.
Yeah.
We could run into desperate people in a scary situation. Yeah. Could run into any number of things that were scary.
There was both of our minds were on such high alert that whole time, I think, and that didn't translate to camera either. We were even cracking jokes and stuff, trying to
lighten
get through it, but it was scary. And then sleeping was scary. There was that one moment when we were drinking beers around the campfire. I think we had turned the camera off. Yeah. But we heard 2 or 3 very distinct, right behind the car.
And we're talking 20 feet away.
Yeah, and again, guys, the silence was deafening. So that came out of nowhere. It was close, and it was incredibly distinct because it was the only sound there was. Yeah. And that freaked us out.
It did.
We were sweeping the area for a good half hour after that.
Yeah, we were ready to rock.
Yeah, we were ready to rock.
We were ready to rock.
We were very ready to rock. So it was really cool.
I'm glad we get to experience it.
Yeah, I'm glad we get to experience it.
Sometimes it's we've talked about it before, but we're kind of pampered, It's we're city dwellers. It's we're used to our cushy lives, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have that. But once in a while, it's good to shake it up. It's good to get out of your comfort zone. It's good to do something like that, and obviously it makes for really cool content.
Yeah, it did. And then when we were sleeping, we had this tarp over our tent, and every once in a while it would get windy and it would flap the tent, and it sounded like it was someone walking right over us. We'd, of course, wake up. What the fuck?
Very hard to relax. Yeah. I think had it gotten any more scary, it was scary. Legitimately, it was scary. a big part of it too is just being so vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Not being able to see what's out there. That was the frustrating thing. It's like there was one flap you could see out of in the tent, but there was 3 corners you couldn't see out of, or 3 walls. You feel very exposed in a fucking tent.
Yeah.
I think had my fear level gone about 1 or 2 notches higher, I would have been like, all right, sleeping in the car.
Yeah, we considered that.
It was getting to that point where I was like, all right. And also, it was another factor. It was really, really
so cold. I had to piss at like 2 a.m. I was shaking.
Yeah, it does not translate in the video.
Yeah, no.
In the video, also, most of the stuff that you guys saw, like during our ghost hunt, we were pretty warm. We were wearing a lot of layers. Yeah. We were doing a lot of walking. You know, it was like high, you know, fairly high elevation. Like we were getting sweaty. You know, and. Yeah, it was one of those where like we were at least exerting ourselves walking around, so we were warm. But dude, when it came time to settle into the sleeping bags, I was like, I could not stay warm. I was so freaking cold.
Yeah, same.
And same thing, you get out to take a piss after we had like a bunch of beers by the campfire.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, you feel super exposed out there, like in the darkness with just a faint little moonlight out there, and then you're peeing and it's like icicles on your dick, you know? And then you just want to dive back.
And you gotta like unzip the sleeping bag and then zip it back up.
And then it's that feeling of almost like being a little kid being scared, where like you get back in and like you can't wait to close it.
Right.
I gotta close this fucking thing because somehow this thin little layer of fabric is going to protect you from bears and like, you know, creepy things. Like somehow that's going to protect you.
As long as you can't see out, they can't see in. It's like object permanence. You don't have any.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But I slept with the shotgun and that giant knife. I took like right next to me the whole time I slept.
Yeah. And we did have ammunition. Yeah. And ammunition was right. It was handy. Yeah. Ammunition was handy. It was like it was either there or in certain situations around in your pocket. It was like it was nearby. Yeah. So we were ready to rock if we had to, but luckily we didn't have to. Yeah. But it was it was an interesting.
It was intense, and I think we mentioned it in the vlog as well. But like I think the most sleep we got was after the sun came up, because then we felt a little more safe. Yeah. I remember I kept on the exact same clothes I had from when we were walking around. So I had all these layers and I had my beanie on. I remember when the sun came up, I kind of woke up a little bit. I just pulled the beanie over my face and went back to sleep.
Yeah, I knocked out probably, it was very light, like scared, like alert sleep. Yeah. This not to compare it to war, but like I'd probably how someone would be if they were like on guard. But where it was like very minimal sleep until probably after. I probably got so exhausted, probably around like 3 or 4. Yeah. And then I was probably out by then. I mean, it was so cold. But yeah, once you start getting that little sliver of sunlight and the sun come up, then I was like, I can relax.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, we're all good.
Yeah, so it was a humbling, eye-opening experience.
It was super cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, a really great ghost town. Would I go back? Probably not. Yeah. But, I mean, maybe someday, but probably not.
It felt like the edge of the level. If the world were a video game, that was the edge of the fucking
That was
level.
The end. It was one of those where it's like, I'm really glad we documented it. Because one of those places, you know, I'm kind of like, I'd be fine if I never went back. Yeah. You know, but it was really cool to check out. Yeah. It was definitely cool. And it was funny, I was talking to my parents about it. My mom was like, oh, I'd be really interested in checking that out. And then I showed her the video, and she's like, wow, I'm really glad you checked that out. I didn't have to go. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's not what you expect. I think a lot of people expect like a tourist town like Tombstone, Arizona, which is very touristy. It is the real historic location. But a lot of those things people have kind of capitalized on turning them into tourist traps. Right, yeah. This place was not the case. No, this place was like fully abandoned, and you know, we were just kind of roaming. And there was really no safety precautions. There were no shops that were functional. There was nothing. No photo op. I mean, there were photo opportunities, but not the kind that, you know, you think of at a ghost town.
The last evidence of recent activity there was, I guess, some scientists from U of A had taken one of the buildings and were using it for something. They were like monitoring something out there.
It was like something from Chernobyl.
Yeah, but they had left, you know. So there was like a few futons and shit in that building. We looked through that. That was the one where the door opened a little bit on its own. Yeah. That was one that some U of A students were in for some project or something, but they were long gone. So
and it seemed like no one had been there in a year or two. Yeah, but maybe longer. Mm-hmm. But
and again, we were kind of removed from the actual town.
We were.
There were towns there, but we had a little bit of a walk, and we were out there just in the woods.
There was like the area where like the groundskeeper was, and then like 2 other semi-functional buildings. Yeah. I would say functional buildings, and then that was it. Everything else was like the old schoolhouse, which was not functional. Obviously, it was like had one door that could close, and the rest of it was like all screwed up. Yeah, and then the rest of it were like ruins. Yeah. You know, basically ruins. And we were fairly far removed from that down the road, and yeah, we were kind of tucked away from it all, but it was a really cool experience.
It was really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it. If you guys have not seen the video, please go check out the Ruby video. We have a super cut of the whole trip.
So might as well just check that one out.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah, but before that, we got it broken into segments. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out because it was badass. Probably the coolest part was the nighttime vlog, the ghost hunting, us trying to find the cemetery.
Yeah.
Dude, I have not felt that feeling of like impending doom and mortal danger and being on high alert. I don't know if ever. Like, it was one of those where I was like, really like, I gotta watch my back.
Yeah, it was intense.
And it's like that human nature thing where it's like when you're in darkness like that, but then knowing that like, okay, there's a high probability there's other people out here that don't want to be seen. That, you know, it could be messy. It's like you never know about drug runners and things like that. It's like there's a lot going on down at the border, you know?
We did see that shawl, that like blue shawl that was in the sand there. That was like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, it's like there's any number of people that could have been out there, and then also take into account wild animals.
Yeah.
Black bears, mountain lions, stuff like that. It's like you gotta be careful. But it was cool. It was cool.
It was really cool.
The ghosts were the least, the thing we were the least worried about.
I didn't give a fuck about the ghosts.
Yeah, ghosts, I'm like, that'd be cool to hear something, but like, it was more just like the actual experience and checking out the town and trying to not trip and hurt ourselves.
Then on the other hand, at Terror Trader, the ghosts were aplenty.
Take it away on Terror Trader.
So,
take it away.
Dude, guys, I mean, if you haven't watched the whole Terror Trader video yet, please go check it out. Yeah. We made sure to break that one up into chapters. Mm-hmm. We interviewed Jason in the beginning. Great guy, super cool shop.
Shout out to Jason.
Yeah. But if you want to jump straight to the investigation, you can do that. It's all in there.
Yeah.
And
don't let the runtime intimidate you. You can skip around. You won't offend us.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And but like, seriously, guys, like everything that happened in there, none of that was like choreographed, or we weren't trying to do anything. It just fucking happened. And
we went in, and that was the most real. All of our other stuff has been real too, but that was the most active, real investigation we've ever done.
Like, I feel like I just need to reiterate that, like, this was 100% because
100% real.
It was intense.
No trickery, no pre-planned stuff. Like, we were not in on anything.
Yeah.
This was like just the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went in. We recorded what we saw, and stuff happened.
And that EMF device is legit.
It is legit.
Ben had come over before, we went over there together, and he was holding it up next to my microwave and holding it up next to the TV. Saying,
it's a functional,
it's a legitimate device.
It's a functional device to detect electromagnetic frequencies.
Yeah.
And so we did it against computer, TV, microwave, phones, tested it out, up against lights and everything. It's functional. It's like I've had it for a while. I've used it on a few things. And it's
never done anything like that.
No,
that was so insane.
So it's the real deal, and it had fresh batteries, and dude, the things we saw at Terror Trader, like I said, the first time, I don't know if any of you guys here, I know a lot of you guys saw it. The first time I went to Terror Trader by myself, I was just curious about it. I was like, I wanted to go check this place out. I'm trying to remember how I even learned about it. Maybe Grim Life Collective, possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, I heard about this place, and I was like, oh, that place looks sick. I want to go check it out. And I did, and I had that crazy experience going in the oddities room, and it really freaked me out. I had very intense nightmares for 2 nights after it, and I felt a physical reaction to it like I'd never felt before with a haunted place or allegedly haunted place. But I think with Terror Trader, I think the objects in there are truly haunted.
Do you want to mention, well, we can keep them anonymous, the 2 people who mentioned that they had bad nightmares after watching the video?
Oh, guys, yes. Yeah. Okay, so this is really cool, and this is actually a really big deal. I talked to Jason from Terror Trader about this. Huge freaking thing, and please comment below if this happened to you.
You talked to him about this?
I did. He said it was amazing.
Wow, cool, yeah.
And anyway, so please comment below if you have a similar story to this. But after we released the Terror Trader video, my friend at work and former manager, she pulled me aside and was like, dude, I watched your video yesterday. She said she and her husband watched it, and she's very religious. She's a very religious person. And she said it was cool. She said she used the chapters. They hopped around. She said they watched the whole ending, and it really freaked her out because she's very religious. Yeah. Anyway, she said at the end, didn't think much of it. She said, cool video, fun stuff. Went to bed, right? Horrific nightmares. And she said her nightmares focused around the oddities room, which she'd never been into. She's never been a Terror Trader. She dreamt of the oddities room. She said it was a little different with velvet all over it. And she said also she woke up just like in a cold sweat and was scared to move. She said it was almost like sleep paralysis.
Yeah, wow.
And then she said it was crazy. She leaned over. She said her husband was having a hard time sleeping too. Damn. He didn't have the nightmares, but he was having a hard time sleeping. But she said it like dramatically affected her dreams.
Jeez.
Anyway, she had to tell me that, and I was like, wow. I believe you, And then what was crazy was one of our great friends and viewers here, who remain anonymous. Anyway, he lives on the other side of the country. He lives on the other side of the country, and he hit me up. And he said, hey, dude, he said, I'm a big skeptic. I don't really believe this stuff. He's like, but I obviously watched for you guys, kept an open mind. And he said, after watching the video, he said he got really, really tired. He said, like, kind of out of nowhere.
Wow. And
he went to bed really early. And he said he had horrific nightmares. Huh. And then he said, the next day he still didn't feel quite right, and he had to tell me about it.
Jeez.
And that's coming from a big skeptic who lives literally, like, other side of the country.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot coming from someone who I know who is a skeptic. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I almost prefer to hear it from a skeptic.
Yeah, right.
And then from my friend at work who is a very devout religious person to open her mind up to something like that and then to have a scary experience and then tell me about it. Just goes to show that's wild. And another thing, I don't know if I told you this, my own mom, after she watched the very first Terror Trader video, she said she had a wacky nightmare about the oddities room without actually going to the oddities room a night after she had watched it.
Wow.
So that's 3 people that I've heard talk about
crazy.
that. 3 different people who, all of which have not actually physically visited that location.
Damn, that's interesting.
So if you guys had any wacky dreams after watching any of the Terror Trader videos, please tell us about it.
Yeah, please do.
Did you? So you didn't have any effect after the fact, did you? Yeah.
No. Thankfully, I was honestly like driving home. I remember being like slightly worried. I was like, man, I'm good. And
You're pretty unfazed.
I'm pretty unfazed.
Yeah.
And talking about it now, I'm getting excited. I feel like I want to get that Ouija board, go to a neutral location, maybe I want to fucking do it.
It would be wild. You know what's interesting about this? Emmett and I have been talking about it. We can let you guys in on it. We're predisposed to liking the macabre and the haunted stuff and cemetery walks and creepy locations. We want to dive into it more.
Yeah.
And if you guys would like to watch more of this, please comment below. But I think we're going to do it either way.
Yeah.
It's like you're still going to get the fun unfazed. You're still going to get the podcast. You're still going to get funny videos from time to time for sure. We're not giving that up, but there is going to be more of an emphasis on these more creepy adventures.
Yeah, and what I've noticed, what we've both been noticing, is that there are a lot of abandoned places that you can technically rent out. Like we technically rented out Ruby. We just paid a small sum and then just went there, but it was very hands-off.
It was more of like a donation.
Yeah, really.
And they were very hands-off of I think it was 40 a person or something like that.
Cheap.
It was very affordable. And then she was like, cool, thanks, see ya.
Yeah, right.
And then she was like, watch out for immigrants and watch out for wild animals.
Yeah, right.
And then she was like, and also don't go over there because you could fall into an old mine.
Yeah, right.
And then she was like, see ya.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we were kind of like, all right, well, we're on our own now for the next day.
Uh-huh.
And we literally were on our own.
Yeah, that's true. Which was cool. Yeah. And so I forgot the YouTuber, but I watched this video about St. Ignatius Hospital in wherever the fuck it is, and it's like this terrifying abandoned hospital. Looked exactly the same.
I forget where it was.
The only thing, I forget where it was too. We'd have to fly out, obviously, but
be sick.
The only thing that was had been adjusted for the sake of the whole experience there was there were little blurbs about each room every once in a while that had been pasted around, much like Ruby.
Yeah,
they had this little sign about hey, this building was this, so and so happened here, whatever. But that was it. Everything else was completely untouched.
Yeah,
and they leave you alone. And I think same thing with St. Ignatius Hospital, which is this huge hospital, terrifying looking. I would love to do more stuff like that. And if you guys know of any other established or abandoned establishments that have since been, bought and are being rented out, please let us know. I want to do shit like that a lot.
Yeah, and we're down to travel. And like I said, if you guys want to join in on the Patreon, that would really help us out.
Yeah.
Link below, because if you can help us fuel our unfazed adventures, you guys will get more epic and grand content from us. So definitely feel free to join and become an unfazed patron to help us do more wild stuff.
Yeah. If we get a lot of patrons, then I would 100% be willing to use all that to travel everywhere to do all these creepy things. I want to do the creepiest. I want to do this. So I'm the guy who I'm a skeptic, but I wish it were real.
Same.
So I almost want to draw it out. I want to go as hard as I fucking can. See something to happen.
And what's wild too is I've seen your transformation from a man to a woman. I've seen your transformation from a 100% major skeptic. I remember in our very first paranormal video that we did, which I believe was at Green Acres together.
Probably
was our first one about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago.
Maybe.
I remember you saying, "I don't believe in any of this shit."
Yeah.
And you're like, I still think a part of you says that. But you've come a long way in terms of like some of the stuff. I mean, you got to admit the stuff you saw at Terror Trader. Did that kind of blow your mind a little bit?
That was a little weird. Yeah, I'm definitely like when I saw. Yeah, every time I saw that thing fly up there, especially with the Ouija board, that was like. Well, there were two things about Terror Trader that really blew my mind. One was the one, and you can actually see in the video. I didn't realize this until after we really posted it, but our little remote mics we had, they have like a standby blue light, right? I'm holding the EMF. Ben's talking about our TalkBox apps. The EMF freaks out, and then literally like seconds after that, the mic goes from a standby light to a flashing light because the battery had immediately died. So that was like it was cause and effect, straight up. Same with the Ouija board. As soon as the box top came off, as soon as Jason took it off, the EMF,
which is wild,
crazy. So
my thing is
that shit is, I can't ignore that.
That's crossing the paths of like spirituality and like creepy stuff into like science.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so interesting.
Yeah,
that's what's so interesting, and that I just love seeing you really being blown away by stuff because you are such a skeptic.
Yeah.
And then I think the more you experience that stuff, the more you get kind of addicted to it.
Yeah.
Because I see it's like I've been that way for a long time where I'm like the way I really got into it, it's like I've always appreciated creepy shows. My mom was always a big fan of Ghost Adventures and all that kind of stuff. And grew up watching those shows, this type of creepy shows. I've always loved the X-Files, stuff like that. So I've always been kind of into it.
Yeah.
But I started really, really getting into it around the time, a little after I graduated from high school. I remember being the weirdo where like I'd go on dates with girls downtown, and I would take them to the Hotel San Carlos, because it was like age 18, 19, where like you couldn't drink, you couldn't go to bars yet. So you would just go downtown and wander and try to get in a makeout session with a girl, And I would always go into the Hotel San Carlos, which is this old hotel built in 1927, downtown Phoenix, a 7-story old hotel. And all these stars stayed there back in the day. There was a woman who committed suicide off the roof back in the 20s. And it's haunted. It's a haunted hotel. And I would always, once in a while take dates there. And a lot of times I would just go and check it out because it's an interesting place. One time I had gone with a date there when I was probably like, I want to say maybe like 19 or something like that, and we were up on the roof. There was a 3rd-story roof, and you could just go in like from the public because there was like a restaurant there, and then you could weasel your way up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Walk around the hotel.
Good. Yeah, that's nice.
And I remember like taking this girl up there, and we were hanging out by the pool there, and it was like just us, nobody there. And security came out, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing up here? I got to kick you guys out." And I remember I started just talking to him, picking his brain about ghost stories. Yeah. His name was Dennis, and shout out to Dennis.
Love Dennis.
And I remember he was kicking us out, but he was real nice about it.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was looking for a job. I was like, I want to say like 19. And I was like, "Hey, are you hiring for anything?" He's like, "Well, we're hiring for valet." I was like, "Cool, how do I apply?" And he was like, "Well, send an email here and yada yada." Anyway, long story short, I ended up getting the job.
It was great.
After getting kicked out of the hotel, I got a job. And I worked at the Hotel San Carlos for a year, and I did valet. And then I also would, at nighttime, I'd go inside because obviously nothing was going on with valet at night. I would help with security. He'd be like, "Well, you can do some rounds around at night." And then what was cool is on the weekends, I would host the ghost tours.
Nice.
There were ghost tours, and I would give those, especially around October and that season. They really, they wouldn't lean into it fully as much as they should have, but they would allow it around Halloween time, and I would give the ghost tours, which was sick. I loved doing that. And I saw and heard a lot of weird stuff. I saw a lot of shadows out of the corner of my eyes. I heard weird noises. And it was one of those places where it really opened my mind to the paranormal. Mm-hmm. And that was a place after working there for a year, seeing enough things, hearing enough weird noises. It really made me want to investigate the paranormal. Mm-hmm. And that was like one of the big events, or times in my life where I was like, I'm really into this shit.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I value you guys because like the one thing that it bugs the crap out of me whenever I watch other people's paranormal investigations is that when shit goes down, they always check it out. Yeah. And like the only reason I really stopped at Terror Trader was because I could tell Jason was getting legitimately uncomfortable, and we were in his place, and he was a great guy. Obviously, I want to respect him and honor his decision.
Sweet guy, but it almost made it more impactful that he was actually scared.
Yeah, it's made it super impactful. But otherwise I would have gone for it. I remember I was talking earlier in the video about how at one point I bought a Ouija board. I tried to break all the rules. That was for real.
Did anything happen with that?
No, and I was pissed off. But I literally did everything. I remember I looked online. It was when we were both at SCC, so fairly long time ago. Yeah,
free.
And yes, I got it. And I remember the one thing I remember reading specifically for some reason was like don't use white candles. You're always supposed to they said that you should light candles. but they're like, don't use white candles. So of course I bought a shitload of white candles, and they say like, never leave the planchette on it, always say goodbye.
Yeah.
So I broke all the rules.
Yeah.
I put the Ouija board on my dresser, like next to my bed, put the planchette on it, put a bunch of white candles around it, lit it, and I just like went to sleep.
I wonder if part of it's because where you were at.
Maybe
there was no bad energy around.
Yeah, maybe.
So nothing could come through the portal.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I have to try in different places, but like I want shit to go down. Like I want to piss it off almost, just to like fucking show me what's
but
up.
I feel like at the same time, like, what would you do if you were, let's say you went to a haunted hotel, right, and you did all that stuff, and you got yanked out of bed and you were alone in your hotel room? What would you do?
I would hope I got it on video.
Yeah, good answer, man. All right, guys, quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back with some more spooky ghost stuff.
Read 'em and weep, boys. Talk about a winning hand. All of my disturbing, revolting brilliance is now available on my Tales from the Crypt trading cards. Scandalous scenes, gory details, they're all here in deadly color. Collect the complete set. Your friends will just die of envy.
Recently, an object was sighted.
It was big. Bigger than big.
Huge, large, astronomically big.
Big would be an understatement.
Very big. Huge.
Oh, God, big, huge.
When it arrives, you better not be alone. Bigfoot.
Pizza Hut.
From Pizza Hut. 2 square feet of pizza. 21 slices on a tasty new crust. $10.99 for up to 3 toppings. It's bigger than pizza. Bigfoot from Pizza Hut. A legendary value.
Hope you enjoyed those wonderful commercials.
We have returned. I hope you like those creepy, spooky, scary commercials. Maybe you bought something. I don't know. Maybe it did its job. But yeah, the ghostly stuff, we definitely, like I said, it's already a part of the channel. I'd say it's maybe, what would you say, a quarter, 30% of the channel?
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
We love the horror stuff, we love the scary stuff, but we definitely want to start upping our game in that department.
Totally.
Doing more adventures. Like I said, helps out on the Patreon. Yeah. Get yourself an unfazed show.
I value you guys that I will never fucking chicken out. Unless there's like a third party where I have to respect their decision, I will not chicken out. I always want to take it to the next level. I want shit to happen. Yeah. So like I'm gonna keep going no matter what.
Yeah, we want to keep making grander videos because I think you guys have noticed though. I mean, fucking Ruby Ghost Town, Terror Trader, like we're stepping it up gradually. It's come a long way from Twin Butte Cemetery. Yeah, with the homeless guy.
Wow, that was a weird one though. That was still very.
That was a weird one.
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
We've done some cool ones.
We've done a lot of ones.
You know which one I want to do? Should I give him a little heads up or should we keep him a secret? Keep it a secret.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't even know what to talk about.
One thing I want to do is I would like to go up to northern Arizona to Jerome.
Oh yeah.
I would love to go to the Hotel Jerome.
Yes.
I think it's the Grand Hotel Jerome, whatever it is. Anyway, it's been featured on Ghost Adventures. A bunch of other people have gone there. It's supposed to be incredibly haunted. Incredibly haunted. And that would be a place I would like to go. It's totally attainable. It's like an hour and a half away, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And go up there, get a room. Maybe you, me, Martine, maybe if anyone else from the Unfazed crew, like James or someone maybe wants to come along. And we just document it. I think that would be a great place to just go in, spend the night. And I don't know if I would even bother with a daytime vlog. I might want to start recording as the sun sets.
Right.
And one of those where it's like we just go and like we do it up, we stay the night, stay up till the witching hour and see what we can do. And also, it's been a long time since I walked around Jerome. Last time I went there was probably when I was like 18, 19, something like that. And I remember we went up and it was snowing. And it was me and some friends from GCC. We went there. We were all my friends from my photography class. We were all like, "Let's go up and take pictures." I kid you not. We went up and take pictures.
Very American spunk.
Very American spunk. And we went up there, and it was beautiful and creepy. And I remember like an old playground with no one on it, and you could just walk the streets, and no one was out at night.
That's so cool.
And it was like this chill in the air and like fresh snow on the ground.
What? For some reason, when you said like the playground with no one on it, I flashed on this memory. Mm-hmm. Tell me if you've had any memory like this. And Bean and Max, Bean is my dad. Bean and my brother Max will
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean will corroborate this. When we were going down to Tucson and just me, my dad, and Max to visit my grandmother who lived down there. We were driving down when I was pretty young. I want to say maybe 12.
Can't believe I just noticed that pillow.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, all right, pillow talk.
I want to say it was 11 or 12. It was just me, Bean, Max. We were going down to Tucson to visit our grandma. It was really foggy on the way down there, which is odd. Like that, I can't remember another time.
You were on your way to Tucson or back?
To Tucson.
To Tucson.
Yeah. and it was very like foggy, misty, low-lying fog, which is like fucking weird for that stretch. That's such a vaporous, deserty stretch.
It is odd, yeah.
And I kid you not, again, they'll totally tell you the same thing. There was an abandoned carnival on the side of the road.
Fully abandoned.
Yeah, not a soul there. Bunch of low-lying fog, terrifying, old-looking abandoned carnival.
Really?
Yeah, and we stayed like one night. We were, like we drove past. We were like, "What the fuck?" We stayed the night at my grandma's house. On the way back, completely gone. And like the weather was all cleared up.
But it was an old-looking carnival. Like, it looked like it'd been there for a long time.
Yeah, and that stretch, like, guys, I mean, he knows what I'm talking about, but that stretch is nothing. Just open desert, nothing. Right in the fucking middle of that open, nothing desert carnival.
Wow.
It made no sense.
And it was an old-looking carnival.
Yeah.
It didn't look like one that, like, might have been a little beat up and, like, they were just moving through. It was it looked old?
Yeah, it looked old and abandoned. It was in the fog, and then it was
gone the next day.
Completely gone. We couldn't because we were looking for it on the way back because it was such a weird thing. Wow. We're like, where is it? Not a fucking nothing.
Like Ferris wheel and all.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I was young again, but
how old do you think you were?
I want to say like 11. I mean, your memory's way better than mine. You remember shit from like 5, 6. I don't remember anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was a legit carnival, and again, it was hard to see a little bit because there was a really dense fog and everything. But it was
crazy.
So bizarre.
Isn't that cool memories like that? Yeah. And then that you can back it up talking to like your dad or Max, where you're like, oh, it wasn't a dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
I only remember it because we were talking about it fairly recently.
Yeah, that's like the best when you can have someone confirm it, and you're like, oh, that actually happened.
Yeah. That's sick. Crazy, man.
And Max fully remembers it.
Yeah, they both fully remember. You can ask him about it.
That'd be cool if there was a picture of it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. That was like right before phones. Like none of us had a cell phone at that point. But
here's a fun one for you. I was going to say, do you remember in Spider-Man 2002, there was a behind-the-scenes thing I remember seeing as a kid. Tell me if you guys remember this. I think it's a Mandela effect. Okay. I remember seeing a behind-the-scenes thing in a magazine for either the first Spider-Man or the second Spider-Man, where they deleted a scene with a Ferris wheel at like a carnival, where Spidey's in front of it and he has to like rescue Aunt May from something going on. It's nighttime and he's in front of this Ferris wheel, and it was a deleted scene, and I just remember seeing still frame pictures of it, and they deleted it for some reason. I don't know if it was something related with the first movie and maybe something with the Twin Towers in the background or something like that. It was removed. But does anyone else remember that, or am I just crazy?
Wow. Yeah.
Or is it just is it a Mandela effect, or is it just a false memory of being a kid?
That sounds very Raimi, like something you would definitely want to do, and it sounds legit. Like it sounds like a situation they would put him in, but I don't know that at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a weird one.
You know what it could have been? There is one thing it could have been. There could have been a book or a comic book that was illustrated to look a lot like the Raimi movie.
Maybe.
And there could have been like a twist on it where like maybe that was a scene from the script and then they fleshed it out in the comic.
Oh, okay.
And it looked really real. And I saw that as like an 8-year-old and was like, boom. And then in my mind somehow I distorted it to like, oh, that was a deleted scene, but maybe it never happened. I don't know. But anyway, if you guys remember Toby's Spidey with anything with a carnival Ferris wheel, let me know.
Shit, yeah.
If not, I'm making shit up on the internet. I don't know.
So, I don't know. I haven't had any. Yeah, beyond that, my Ferris wheel carnival thing, nothing really crazy. I think I told you about the one time I read that thing on the internet and I had some paranormal shit happen afterwards.
Refresh my memory on that.
It was a stupid internet thing called like 13, and there were like 13 lines of text, and like each line was like telling you to do something. It was like instructions.
How recent was this?
It was, I want to say it was a freshman or sophomore high school.
Okay, it's been a minute.
And each line was a different instruction. First, it was very like stupid, but it was supposed to like bring out the ghosts or whatever. And the first one was like turn out the lights. And then it was like lock the door.
Yeah.
And then it was like press your ear up against the door and like listen. It was just like trying to make you paranoid.
Yeah.
It was obviously trying to make you paranoid. It was trying to make you in a dark, confined space, and it was trying to make you like listen. So it was obviously just trying to freak you out.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah. And then at the end it was like read the first letter of each line, and it spelled out like I am devil or something stupid.
Yeah, classic.
I was like dumb. And then I went to bed, and their cat at the time always like sat at the foot of my bed to sleep.
What was your cat's name?
Nisa. Yeah. And she'd always sleep at the foot of the bed, and I had a big old tube TV at the corner of the room, and Nisa arched her back all of a sudden and hissed at the TV and ran out.
What did Nisa look like?
She was like gray, kind of flowing hair, almost like snowy, but like gray and black kind of. She was a sweet cat, very sweet cat.
Cute.
Yeah, she arched her back and like hissed at the TV and ran out, and then the TV like turned on to static all of a sudden. But that can be explainable because our grandpa way early on, like years and years and years ago, he was like messing with the TV settings, and ever since he like messed with them, it would every once in a blue moon turn on to static. But still odd, like at the right time. So I was like, all right, I turned it off, and as soon as I turned it off, I heard something very faintly like fall on the other side of the house. It was very quiet because it was like nighttime. We were getting ready for bed. It was just me and my mom. Yeah. So I heard something fall on the other side of the house. I walked over, and this is kind of hard to explain, but there were a series of shelves in this like study that we had on the other side of the house, and on the middle shelf there was this really heavy metal vase in the front of it, and then just behind that was like this. It was like a plastic collage of photos. It was like family photos, and it was like mounted in this kind of fairly heavy plastic thing. Yeah. But this vase was heavy. It was like heavy metal, and that's what was. So like the picture was on a slant, and it was sorry. The picture was on a slant. The picture was on a slant. It was like this. It was like the vase was here, and the picture was like leaning against it like that. Okay. So like the wall's here. Yeah. Boom. And so what had happened is that the whole giant collage had fallen to the floor, but the vase was still there.
Oh, so like it wouldn't have made sense.
It wouldn't have made any sense.
Like it would have had to have gone around.
Yeah. So yeah, it would have had to like yeah. So like what the fuck? Huh. And I remember just being like a little weird, and I was definitely creeped out at that point. I put it back, went to bed, didn't really like what are you gonna do? But it was very odd. And like
was that your guys' old house closer to SEC?
Yeah. The house I grew up in. Yeah. Wow. Totally weird, totally unexplainable. Did it have something to do with the 13 thing I read? I guess so. I don't know, because I remember like brushing it off and then kind of forgetting about it until that happened, and I was like, wait a minute.
Seems like a lot of stuff in rapid succession.
Yeah,
and that was all the same time, like same day.
Yeah, all the same instance. Yeah,
same.
Yeah, I read the 13 thing online maybe at like 8 o'clock. Okay, and then I was in bed at like 10:30, and that's when all that shit went down.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
very weird. Yeah, very weird.
That's really wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ghost stories. Shoot, I think
you don't have
down the ghost story route.
It's just frustrating when there's like cool shit happens, and then you're like, "Well, that was it."
You know? That was it. You want more.
Yeah, you want more. Yeah.
One thing I can think of. I mean, there were a lot of instances with the Hotel San Carlos downtown, but there was one where I went down into the basement. Of course, dude, this was like the most shining fucking thing. Imagine me being like 19 years old. And they're like, it's winter. Can you go down and bleed the boiler? So you'd have to go down to... Yeah. So literally, 19-year-old Ben would have to go down into the freaking basement of the 1927 built San Carlos. Into this creepy-ass basement. And you'd have to go into this real dark fucking area that was horrifying. It was like something from Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. Like Freddy Krueger's gonna pop out. Yeah. And you'd have to let the steam off of these boilers in the winter. God. And you'd have to do it for like 60 seconds on one side and one on the other. God. It was like super not in my job description. Yeah. I was too young. I was just like, sure. And then I was also like, I gotta be tough. I gotta do it. Like, the fuck? I didn't have to do that. But anyway, I went down there and I bleed the boiler. Yeah. And I remember one time going down there and it was super unsafe, like in retrospect. And why did I do that? But anyway, I remember coming out after bleeding the boiler, and what a job. And I remember seeing someone, like just the figure of a man, walking over into this hallway area. There was like a little indented area. And I was like, oh, it's Joseph. That was the name of the maintenance guy. There was like one maintenance guy. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go say hey to him in a second. And I walked over there and like went left, and then the way that he went, there was only one way in and out. It was one door, and it had a padlock on it. No one there. Immediately, I got on my walkie-talkie. We had walkie-talkies. I messaged the front desk, and I was like, hey, is Joseph here, or is anyone down in the basement? And then they called back. He's like, negative. Joseph left at like 4 p.m. And this was like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, okay, is anyone down in the basement? They're like, nope. And what's crazy is, oh my God, there was only one way in and out of that maintenance room. So that would be literally like, let's say that's the door. You guys can't see it, but there's a door there, and then there's like a little wall like obstructing your view. Looking around, there's only one way in and out. Right. So if someone would have gone there, I would have run right into them face to face. Yeah. And padlock on the door. So I'm like, what the fuck? And no lights on in there. I looked. There was you could kind of see a gap in the door. No one in there, right? I was like, okay, freaky, right? Months later, I don't know the exact time span, but another time. I was doing a ghost tour and we went down to the basement. That was always the final spot to take people because it was the spookiest, right? We went down there. There's a story about kids drowning in a well. I don't know if it's true. I wasn't able to.
There's always kids drowning.
Yeah, I wasn't able to verify it, but there were rumors that 2 kids drowned in a well back in like the 1910s on that property. And a lot of people said it was true, but I was not able to find any proof of it. But still weird vibes in that basement nonetheless. And they also said it was like Native American ground, so like there could have been some energy from that for sure. But anyway, all that aside, it was just a creepy fucking place. So we were on this ghost tour. I was walking back towards the elevators, and same deal. There was another room, that same side of the wall where the maintenance room was. There was another one at the end of the hallway, spookiest fucking area, and it would lead into the maids area where they had like washing machines and like a little break room area for like the maids or like the housekeeping people, right? So anyway, same deal. Lights were off, and that maids area had, or housekeeper area had like automated lights. So like if you walk in, motion detector would go off, lights would come on, right? So anyway, I'm walking towards the elevators and towards just beyond that the hallway that leads to the maid break room. It's probably about, I don't know, 50, 60 feet away, right? So I'm walking. I've got the people in the tour group behind me, and I see just from left to right a kid walk from, I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but it was like dark head, lightish, white colored body, walking from left to right into that maid's quarters. And I'm like, oh, a kid, came down to the elevator, because the elevator wasn't locked, you could go down to the basement.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, oh, a kid's fucking around. It's probably, it looked like a kid that was maybe like 3 or 4, like pretty short, walking into there. And I told the people, I was like, oh, a kid's walking, and then they were like, oh, we didn't see anything. It was like, I was the only one that saw it.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. So I walked up, because I was literally just like in the mode of like, oh, it's dangerous down here. I should tell a kid to get out of here. I wasn't even thinking ghosts.
Right, yeah.
Because you've got like strangers with you, like it feels lively on a ghost tour. Like it didn't feel like...
It
doesn't feel scary. So I walk over there. None of the lights are on in the maid's room. I turn the lights on with the motion sensor. Nobody in there. Same deal, only one way in and out. And I saw that, swear to God, I saw something. Like I saw something. I was like,
wow, man.
Can't explain what it was. I couldn't see any details. It was almost like when you see something out of your peripheral, like just out of view.
Yeah.
You know? But
Jesus,
that was weird. So I saw 2 things out of the corner of my eye that I can't explain.
That's always the scariest thing when you're so sure that you just think it's real. Yeah, you don't question it, and then you're like, what the hell? Yeah, that's always the most frightening thing.
And I always thought, well, maybe I'm crazy, right? But then I started talking to other people that work there, and they're like, oh yeah, I see it all the time. And then I asked the maintenance guy, and he's like, oh, was it here in the basement? And I'm like, he's like the door that leads to the maintenance room. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've seen that a bunch of times. And I'm like, oh, so I'm not crazy. What? Okay. And then I started talking to this dude. His name was Ash, like Ash Ketchum. Yeah. Funny guy. He was a big foodie. He was nice to talk to. I enjoyed working with him. And he worked the front desk. And he would say he would always hear things. They had this bar. It used to be called the Ghost Bar. And it was this bar off to the side that was all closed up by the time I worked there. But I do remember going there a few times for like little events. I remember one time going on a date with this girl for like a swing dancing event, I think, that they had in there. And then by the time I worked there, it like shut down. It like had just shut down, right? So they had this area gated off. And Ash would say at night, he'd be there, he'd like be doing the night auditing and be working like the overnight shift. He would hear chairs moving around in there, tables moving around, all this noise. Wow. And he'd go in and like things would be moved.
Oh my God.
And yeah, crazy stuff. Another ghost story from the San Carlos. We should vlog the San Carlos.
Yeah, I was about to say, we should fucking do that.
Yeah, we should vlog it for sure.
I don't know if we could rent that out for a night.
That would be sick. We could get a room.
Yeah.
We could get a room.
Let's fucking do that.
Yeah, that would be sick. I think I had been kind of turned off from it because I had worked there for so long. And some of the people I had worked with got kind of weird.
Staycation!
Yeah, some of the times I'd gone back, there were a few of the security people I was kind of put off by a little bit. Yeah. I didn't like the vibe. But it's been long enough, I don't know if anyone I know would even still work there. So it's been...
Let's get a room there, man.
You know, I think it'd be kind of cool. That'd be a good one to bring Martina.
If we get 20 patrons, we'll get a room at San Carlos.
We'll rent out the San Carlos. Join us on the Patreon, guys.
You can just do $1. Just
$1.
A donation of $1. We can keep giving you the great... I can keep listening to NPR. 50% of it is asking for donations.
Yeah. I hate to ask, but at the same time, it helps us.
Yeah.
It helps us do more cool things. Yeah. But anyway, one last San Carlos story. I was doing a ghost tour. We were up on, I don't remember which floor. Let's say the 5th floor, right? I opened a door. They wanted to see one of the suites. I think it was the Mae West suite. So I'd have to correct my memory on which floor that was. But a bunch of celebrities had actually stayed there. Marilyn Monroe, Cary Grant, Mae West, a bunch of others.
Adam
They had like Adam West. They had a bunch of a walk of fame of all the people who'd eaten there or stayed there.
Yeah.
Elvis had stopped in for a drink there one time.
You stopped there for a drink.
I was there one time. I had a star. I have a star there. Yeah. Very famous. But anyway, Cary Grant, Clark Gable, all those guys. But anyway, I wanted to show them this room. Couldn't get into it for some reason. Like, well, we just want to see any room. So I was like, okay. So I got one of the keys and I checked no one was in the room. Opened it up. Snoring. We all heard it. It was me and like a couple. All of us heard it. It was like really loud. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then I wrote down, I'm like, hey, or called down, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I interrupted, room, let's say room 5B or something like that. And then they're like, no one's staying in that room. I was like, double check, turned on the lights, nobody in there. And we all heard snoring, and I'm like, okay, well, let's debunk this. Is there anyone over here, anyone over there? And the thing about San Carlos, it would have really dead seasons. So there'd be times in like November, hardly anybody staying there. It'd be like popping off in the summer, very busy.
Yeah.
And then there'd be other times where like no one would be staying in there. This was one of those dead times, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And I remember asking, I was like, is there anyone, on this floor? And they'd be like, yeah, people all the way on the other end of the very last room. And I was like, is there anyone above or below? They're like, nope. And it was like one of those times where there was only like 10 rooms occupied in the hotel, and it was like nowhere near that area.
Wow.
And it was like, it wasn't a very popular hotel.
That's cool.
And it was one of those where it freaked me out. And also the other people all heard the snoring, and we couldn't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I've had a few ghost stories.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what are the people in the basement, like, did they react when you thought you saw the kid and there was no kid? Like, what did they say?
They reacted to me like, oh, it's freaky, but they probably thought, oh, this guy's pulling one over on us.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I was the host or the tour guide, right? So they were like, oh, that's freaky, but it was not, I don't remember any kind of reaction from them. Like, they weren't like scared also.
Was the couple freaked out with the
Yeah, those people were freaked.
Yeah.
We would have people, those people did, I remember distinctly being freaked out, and then there would be people that would leave in the middle of the night. That would be a common thing where people would come down. I'd be working fairly late. It would be like midnight or something like that. And then people would come down and be like, "Hey, we're checking out." And I'd be like, "Everything okay?" They're like, "No." Like they'd be like we're a lot of times what would happen, it would be couples fighting in specific rooms. Wow. It would be like certain rooms, like especially on the 7th floor where Leona Jensen died.
It's like negative energy.
There was negative energy, and they were. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the rooms that were like specifically like negative.
Yeah.
But there'd be certain ones, like especially the one where Leona Jensen died, and I know it if I see it. I know which one it is, and I think I have a picture somewhere of it. So if we went to the location, I could point it out because it was like when you get off the elevator, it was like the first or second room into the right. I think the first room into the right. So I'd be able to pinpoint it if we went back. Wow. But I don't know the name off the top of my head, the number. But people would fight in that room all the time. And they said like couples, young couples specifically, would go there to have a romantic weekend or whatever, and then come down at like midnight just fighting. And they'd be like,
we'll get that room.
We'll get that room. Yeah, we'll get that fight. But anyway,
Benjamin,
that was the splash wine on you. Fuck you. But that was the thing too. And I did see people leave in the middle of the night, and they'd be like a little shook or a little angry, and they would leave.
Wow.
And it was usually people that stayed on the 7th floor.
The lucky one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shit.
Yeah. But there were a lot of other stories. I know last time I talked to one of the dudes that worked there, I was like, anybody die here recently? Just joking. And one guy was like, he's like, about 3 months ago, a guy OD'd in one of the rooms. And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, more ghosts? And like some like dude like OD'd on like, I don't know what drug. Jesus. But OD'd in one of the hotel bathrooms. And I'm like,
way to go, OD in the San Carlos bathroom.
So I'm like, a fresh ghost. Fresh ghost. And then there was a point where Leona Jensen jumped off the roof. And then there was another story of another hobo jumping off a roof a long time ago there. Never was able to verify that one either. But Leona Jensen definitely did. That's like, there's a news article they have framed there from 1929 or whenever she came.
Look who died in the hotel.
And what's crazy is if I can find it, I'll send it to you. I don't know if we'll include it. Maybe we will. I have a picture from before when I worked at the San Carlos that night. I went to like this swing dance thing that they had with this girl I was going out with at the time. And I got a picture of me in the hallway there on, I think it was the 7th floor.
And Jack Nicholson is behind you.
Jack Nicholson's behind me. And there's a white mist next to me that's really freaky.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
So I'll share that picture. Feel free to critique it and criticize it. Yeah. See me in a fancy shirt with hair.
You've always been here, Ben.
I know. But yeah, that place has always been interesting to me, and I think I was reluctant to go back just because I did work there. And some of the people I worked with, I was just kind of like, I don't want to go back, you know. But I think enough time has passed. It might be time for San Carlos to visit.
That'd be great. I'm excited now.
That'd be sick, yeah. But a lot of stories, and a lot of freaky experiences, and
so cool.
There's something to it, man. And that was one of the main things, you know, aside from the X-Files and Ghost Adventures, that made me want to start doing shit like this.
Yeah, I remember watching Ghost Adventures too, and I was That's
really cool.
I'm down. I'm so down.
Yep. I'm down like a clown. Down like a clown.
In town.
Yes. Do you want to do some of the emails?
I would love to do an email.
Cool. We'll do one quick commercial break and then we'll come back with the most moist, delicious emails you've ever seen in your life. Stay spooky.
Let's talk back to school from a parent's point of view. And a student's. You know, the only thing that kids and parents seem to agree on is Beaverton Mall. For those who take back-to-school selection seriously, Beaverton Mall has more than 100 stores and restaurants. And for those who take shopping comfort seriously, so do we.
Shopping's easy when you start at Beaverton Mall on the boulevard. Yeah.
Oh, try one?
Something's happening in my mouth. It feels icy cool. But there's no ice.
New Kool-Aid Ice Cool. Lemon ice, Arctic green apple. Kool-Aid with the cool you can feel.
Where's the fire?
No fire here.
You again?
Oh, yeah.
And we're back. I hope you enjoyed that brief intermission.
Hello. So we're just going through the email. We don't have a ton of stuff right now.
No email.
We do have stuff that relates, funnily enough, to sort of the creepy vibe.
We love the creepy. We love the creepy.
The title is UFOs Left Radiation Burns and Unaccounted for Pregnancies. New Pentagon report claims.
Zesty.
1,500 pages of UFO-related research were just declassified as part of a FOIA request. Let me actually look this up.
Sure.
So, UFO Pentagon report. Damn, that's
interesting stuff, right? I love how all this stuff is being declassified. Everyone's like,
yeah,
no biggie.
Encounters with UFOs have reportedly left Americans suffering from radiation burns, brain and nervous system damage, and even unaccounted for They're carrying alien babies. Yeah, that's what we call an alien baby.
Oh, alien baby.
According to a massive database of U.S. government reports recently made public through a Freedom of Information Act. Damn. The database of documents includes more than 1,500 pages of UFO-related material from the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. That's sick as hell.
Did you ever think that all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world, call me a conspiracy theorist, say what you will, all the crazy distractions, seems like there's always something keeping us on edge.
Distracting us from aliens?
Is that distract us from this?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
A secretive U.S. Department of Defense program that ran from 2007 to 2012, which is the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. So they're really taking this shit seriously, guys.
Cool name.
At this point, shit's out there.
Yeah.
The truth is out there. Despite never being classified as secret or top secret, the AATIP only became known to the public in 2017 when former program director Luis Elizondo resigned from the Pentagon and released several now infamous videos of an unidentified aircraft moving in seemingly impossible ways to the media. I think I remember that. I think we've talked about
the Tic Tac, I think.
Yeah. Shortly after the AATIP's existence was revealed, the U.S. outpost of the British tabloid The Sun filed an FOIA request for any and all documents related to the program. 4 years later, on April 5th, 2022, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency honored the request by releasing more than 1,574 pages of material to The Sun. According to The Sun, the cache of documents includes reports on the biological effects of UFO sightings.
Dude, this is mind-blowing.
Jesus. On humans, studies on advanced technology such as invisibility cloaks and plans for deep space exploration and colonization. Holy fuck.
This is deep shit.
Yeah. Some portions of the document were withheld in part for privacy and confidentiality concerns. I wonder what they fucking held if they're already talking about all this shit. Dude. The AATIP told The Sun.
I feel like the aliens just like to bang humans.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah. One standout document from the collection is a report titled Anomalous Acute and Subacute Field Effects on Human and Biological Tissues. dated March 2010. The report describes alleged injuries to human observers by anomalous advanced aerospace systems. This is so fucking tight.
Wow.
Some of which may be a threat to United States interests. Wow. Jeez. According to the document, the report describes 42 cases from medical files and 300 unpublished cases where humans sustained injuries after alleged encounters with anomalous vehicles, which includes UFOs. In some cases, humans showed burn injuries or other conditions, just like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Really do electromagnetic radiation.
Sunburn.
Yeah. Ronnie, the report said,
great movie.
Yeah. Some of them appearing to have been inflected by energy-related propulsion systems. Holy, this is sick as fuck.
This should be front page news.
The report also noticed cases of brain damage, nerve damage, heart palpitations, and headaches related to anomalous vehicle encounters. It is unclear what kind of vetting process, if any, the AATIP used to investigate these alleged cases. The Sun has yet to share the full contents of the requested reports. The report also includes a list of alleged biological effects of UFO sightings on humans observed between 1873 and 1994, compiled by the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, a civilian non-profit group that studies reported UFO sightings. So they're working together. This is how legit this shit is.
Interesting.
The reported effects of UFO encounters include unaccounted for pregnancy, apparent abduction, paralysis, and experiences of perceived telepathy, teleportation, and levitation.
Wow, it's a cool movie.
Fuck, yeah. The report concluded that there is sufficient evidence to support a hypothesis that some advanced systems are already deployed and opaque to full U.S. understandings. Wow. What?
There's probably so much, if we knew what was really going on, we'd freak the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we could handle it. At least we could.
Yeah, we could.
Oh.
I think it was fucking
I think
cool.
the crew could handle it.
Yeah, I think the crew can handle it as well.
Most of you.
Damn, dude, oh, wow. Yeah, they've been littering, they've been fucking, what's it called when you fart, but you try to do it discreetly in a series of intervals?
You fart?
Yeah, when it's like a fart, but it's
crop dusting?
Crop dusting, that's it.
Yeah.
They're crop dusting all this alien information. They're just dropping these bombs silently. They've been doing that over the last 5 or 6 years.
There's been, I'd say, yeah, for a while. And also, what's so weird about it is there's so much other noise out there. It's all, related to things going on with Ukraine, things going on with disease, things going on with politics, things that are...
There's always another virus, H1N5, H5N1.
Yeah, the bird flu now. Hey, it's like another bird flu.
There was something else in China. It was like some weird pig, bat, whatever.
Always.
Whatever. There's always something.
Man, bat, pig, boy.
Yeah.
But, Pigman. Yeah. But there is always something to keep us on edge, to keep us distracted. And, you got to admit, guys, the government is declassifying these things. This isn't something we're making up.
Yeah.
You're not like some crazy tinfoil hat guy.
No, this is legit.
This is declassified government documents. And everyone's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's always as soon as it becomes legit, it's not hip anymore. It's weird, but...
It's just weird, the world that we live in now, it's you get things like the Will Smith slap being front page news, and then things that are really huge like this are just kind of an Instagram post. What the fuck? It's almost like they like it that way. They like it to be very surface level. It's you've got a whole fucking pie of amazing stuff, and we're just focusing on the whipped cream.
Unfazed is dedicating to discover the ghosts and the aliens, guys.
We got you. Yeah, you know what I'd like to do? Alien video one of these days.
I would love to do an alien video. I don't know how to do an alien video, but if I did know how to do an alien video...
We live in Phoenix Lights. We're going to figure something out.
Alright, we'll figure it out.
But anyway, it's on our radar for sure.
Yeah, we love the paranormal and the wacky in general. We also love the malls.
We do love the malls.
This article is about the redevelopment of shuttered Phoenix Mall that will cost nearly $1 billion. Wow, we do love our malls. I'd give $1 billion to fix up the
But
mall.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Look what they want to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Alright, well, let's read. I don't know about it. The City of Phoenix is proposing an agreement with the Concord Wilshire Capital LLC for the redevelopment of a defunct Metro Center mall. Wow, our favorite mall. Which was once the largest mall in the Southwest. But closed in 2020 due to market changes. Yeah, market fucking changes. There was one store left.
Yeah.
In the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't think it was the pandemic.
It was dead long before.
Yeah. Florida-based Concord Wilshire Capital and TLG Investment Partners recently announced plans to work with Houston-based Hines on a $750 million redevelopment of the nearly 50-year-old mall. The companies initially said in December that the redevelopment would include 2,600 multifamily units, and 100,000 square feet of essential and service retail.
So that's where I'm having an issue.
Yeah.
The family units.
Yeah, family units.
Are they talking about apartments? Is it going to be luxury apartments? That's where I'm having an issue.
They are building these weird, like pocket eco... Like, it's like, they're doing that like, even down the street from where I live. It's like, apartments next to a shopping center, and it's like all one thing. Yeah, it's very strange.
I don't know.
Yeah, so multifamily units, essential and service retail. So it's like you can get your groceries and as well as boutiques, retail stores, restaurants, bars, park. So it's like everything you need all within a certain little...
Yeah.
It's like your whole life in a little...
I mean, I would love to see it revitalized. It would be cool, because, I mean, what it is now is sad.
Well, it's just fucking gone now. It's homeless people, and it's the little...
the
voice cameras that go, please, the cops have been notified.
Yeah. Now it's just people, like, shooting up heroin outside and just
Didn't someone recently die or get shot or something like right after the...
I forgot to mention this. I think that's deeper in the email somewhere. But basically, in our Metro vlog... that we did a while back. You guys have seen Metro Center. One of the previous videos we did where we went to that Dillard's where we shopped there and we walked around the mall.
Yeah.
Literally adjacent to that, outside the outer ring, like we're talking like a 5-minute walk from that Dillard's, they found 2 people dead in a car.
Classic.
Shot to death.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it was near this shady hotel that's there and probably drug deal gone bad.
Fuck.
But it's ghetto as fuck over there. So it'd be nice to see it revitalized.
God
damn. Yeah. If they can get that element out of there of like fucking crime spree
pieces of shit,
GTA people,
At full build out, a new city report said the project will be comprised of an estimated 3,200 multifamily units, 383,000 square feet of retail and commercial space, a park, and nearly 5,800 parking spaces in up to 9 parking garages through the site.
I think the deal's gonna fall through.
Yeah, that's
I know the area.
That's bold.
I know the area. I know the area.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know what you're saying.
I know the area. It's I don't know. I mean, if it happens, great. But I highly doubt it. I've seen projects like this, like Bright Sun Films is a YouTube channel I really respect. And there's these giant fucking huge projects that they start. And they have all these ambitions, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. We're going to revitalize and all this. And they get like, 75% of the way through and that's just left abandoned.
Yeah. It's going to be like that one vlog we did of that outlet mall on the way to Tucson. So I forget what the City Gate. Yeah. It's gonna be like that. Yeah,
it's gonna be like that, where it's like
big project,
lofty ambitions, a lot of money, and then it's like you see like the first 5% of it, and then they never follow through.
Yeah.
The City Gate was weird because there was like one functional office in the middle, and the rest had like been abandoned in like 1999.
Right. Yeah, because that was that one office was where they started. They're like, this is the office. We're gonna rebuild this whole thing, and they never did. So it was like all these like maps inside. I'm like, this is what it's going to look like.
I would love to see... Well, what's weird about Metro, though, here's the thing. Best mall ever from what I heard back in the 70s, 80s.
It's iconic, like legitimately iconic.
It's an iconic mall.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted Mall, right?
Yeah.
Big deal. You can see in Bill and Ted how fucking gorgeous it was, and it's a tragedy to see how it is now because it's abandoned.
Yeah.
But the outer ring around it, lots of life. There's Chick-fil-A, there's Hooters, there's Starbucks, there's Barnes & Noble, there's In-N-Out Burgers, lots of life around it. But the core of the mall, dead. It's very strange. And except for a Walmart and a theater, and then this gigantic, massive, huge dead mall, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
So could they revitalize it? Sure, but is the area really rough? Yeah. So I don't know if it would pan out the way they want.
Yeah, you're right.
But one other weird thing about it is they're building this giant light rail track that's gonna go right through the middle.
That's the other thing. Yeah, it's going to go right through it.
So my thing is, if they're going to revitalize all that, it's going to have to be adjacent to either side of the light rail track.
Yeah.
And that's going right through the center of the mall. Like here's the mall, and then here's light rail track. So the next logical conclusion, it's being demolished and it's going through. So that's going to be a factor too. So you got to consider that. And the light rail now, sure, there's a lot of people who use it to commute, but mostly it's crackheads and homeless people.
Yeah.
Like I would say, at least 50% of the people that ride it.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like it's just shuttling bums and crack hoes, and it's like, is that really going to end well for people that want to have luxury apartments there? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right. It's a good.
It's weird. I get the desire to revitalize these places and make them work, but some places are a lot harder than others to revitalize.
Yeah. A nice mall that we haven't been to in a while is Arrowhead. I like Arrowhead.
I love Arrowhead. Last time I went, I saw it getting a little rougher on the edges. Yeah. Last time I went, it's still a long way to go. It's got another probably another 15 years.
I love your reaction.
But it's a beautiful mall. It's a great mall. It's a lot of fun. But last time I went, I could kind of see the cracks in the steel.
Oh, shit.
I could kind of see the cracks in the steel, and it freaked me out.
Damn.
But still a long way to go. I would say Arrowhead will be good for at least another decade.
We'll retreat to Fashion Square.
Yeah.
That's our one safe haven.
I think Arrowhead is still great, but the last time I went, it was overcrowded and it was getting a little grungy.
Shoot.
A little dirty, a lot of trash. I was kind of like, maybe I just went on an off night.
Oh, man.
Maybe I went on an off night. Because I've been during the day and on the weekends and stuff, and it's usually pretty good. But this was like it was a random Friday night I went. It was the day before a wedding, and I was going to buy a dress shirt.
Okay.
So I went into like the Macy's there and was walking around, at Macy's or JCPenney, whatever. I think Macy's. And it was way overcrowded, and it was just like scummy, kind of trashy, and like it didn't seem clean. Like I went into the dressing rooms, they were just like overflowing, and there was like just kind of like gross people coming in and out, and it felt more like a Walmart than a mall. And I walked out, and I was like, I actually really didn't explore much of the mall aside from Macy's, so maybe just Macy's there sucks. But last time I went to the mall, like the food court and everything, it was fine.
Yeah, I remember our famous video, Orange Julia's First Try.
Yeah.
That was a great night. That felt great. Good vibes.
So that mall, I think, still has a long way to go. It's still a good mall, but I can see the early signs of wear and tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's inevitable for all malls.
Yeah,
they all have to turn to shit. But
or they get revitalized.
Or they get revitalized. But I will say Arrowhead is still a good contender. It's a good one.
Okay, yeah.
But be careful is all I'm saying.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, be careful.
It's too bad,
All it takes is one shooting and it's gone.
You're right.
Seems like that's how you know the mall's gone, when people are just getting killed in the parking lot and no one talks about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's nice.
It's interesting because Fashion Square has survived multiple suicides and it's been like, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But whatever.
The mall survived.
Yeah.
But Fashion Square, and what's weird is it doesn't have that vibe.
No, it doesn't. No.
Have you walked past the area where you saw that lady impaled? Did you ever tell the story of seeing a lady impaled?
Probably not.
You want to talk?
Yeah, I guess I can.
Right, kind of. You can't. You have to.
Yeah. So I was. This is when I was working at Harkins in a Harkins theater, which was really beautiful. Like sort of the hub of the mall was this great food court. You used to have this raised area in the center, so you could kind of have like a nice dinner. And then there was at the base of the food court was Harkins Theater. It was a really great layout.
It was a great layout.
It was great.
We're just laughing about the situation.
Yeah. And so I worked there for a while, on and off. It was my first job in high school, and I think it was the second time I worked there when I was at SCC, where I was on my break.
Was it like your second shift?
Well, no, my second time I had because I had the job in high school, and then I worked some other places, then I came back. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, it was in.
You saw Frankie Muniz there.
I did see Frankie Muniz. It was great, and Markiplier. Some Markiplier there too. Yeah, so I was like getting food. I was getting like Five Guys or whatever. I don't remember if I had gotten the food or I had not. Either way, I don't think I ate the food. Yeah, so just maybe, I want to say, 60 feet away from me was this like escalator, right? This is like a 3-level mall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was like waiting in line, about to get my food. And there was like, they had this little cart for little kids. It looked like a race car or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to put your kid in there and ride them around or whatever. And so they could feel like they're a racer. And they were all like kind of in a line. And the post where they went was signified with this big metal pole. And this woman, I guess, wanted to commit suicide. So she just jumped off the 3rd level, landed on the pole, was impaled by the pole. Ironically enough, ended up fucking saving her life because it broke her fall. It didn't burst any significant things. I know. But it went through her. Yeah, it went through her. And yeah, I mean, it was sort of like blood and guts that sort of sprayed out, and she was yelling. And it was eerie because like...
Was it like a blood curdling?
Yeah, it was blood curdling, but it was kind of echoey because I was far enough away and it's like a big area. So it was like, ah! You know, it was fucking... And,
Emmett's sitting there eating.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? My 5 Guys, whoa! And, yeah, it was crazy. I think what they had to do is they had to, like, saw off the pole and then get her up off of that.
Fuck.
But, yeah, saved her life. So I didn't see the fall, but I, like, looked over and then, yeah, she was, like, fucking, you know. But,
Holy
yeah, and then there were some other like successful suicide attempts where they were like OGs.
Unlike that failure.
Right, unlike that, she messed up the suicide. We're gonna go from there.
Did you ever hear about a follow up on her?
Well, yeah, the follow up was that she survived.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she lived.
Yeah.
Wow, so in a weird way, as gnarly as it is, it was kind of a miracle.
Yeah, it really was. That little child's speed car thing saved her fucking life. Wow. Yeah, it was weird.
And the fact that it didn't kill her or go through her heart or something.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, what are the odds? Yeah.
Well, so it must have hit her like in just the right spot.
Yeah, I think right in the stomach.
And to not
somewhere.
hit the spine or to not, and it went all the way through.
All the way through. Yeah, because she kind of slid through it. Yeah.
Well, like a lizard.
Yeah, like a lizard. Yeah.
I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, crazy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, very bizarre.
That's a heavy one.
It is a heavy one.
Did that affect you negatively? Like, did you have nightmares about it? Or was it just kind of like one of those you're like,
no, I was oddly unaffected.
Yeah. Maybe because you knew she was ready to off herself and you knew she lived.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like one of those, in a weird way, she was saved.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a happy ending.
I think also it was because I didn't see the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I had seen her jump, it would have scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But I only saw after the fact when it was just like this woman fucking, you know, which is so odd.
Young woman, old woman?
Older. Late 40s, early 50s, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird. Yeah, it was definitely odd.
Wow. Can you walk past that spot now and not think about it, or just every time you walk past it, you think of it?
I kind of vaguely remember it, but it's not like
in your
scarring
face,
or anything. Yeah.
That's good. And I think a reason for that is probably because she lived.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Which is
good.
good.
Her ghost isn't there. Yeah.
Kind of a good thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know the details, but I know there were successful suicide attempts where they just straight up go to the roof and just jump. And
holy shit.
Yeah, right. But it doesn't feel like that, right?
It doesn't have that vibe at all.
It's very unfazed.
Every time I go there, I'm always like, a little turned on by the hot lady.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yep.
Because the great food.
Yep.
Great food court, for the most part.
And hang with Bibi.
Yeah, except for the guy who sneezes at Peter Jungle.
Yeah,
Fuck
that
that.
guy, yeah.
But, and a nice place to walk around.
Yep.
A few decent stores.
Yeah.
Wonderful theater.
Wonderful theater. Like
Wonderful
fucking
theater.
best theater ever.
Yeah, it's a really good theater.
Yeah.
So I don't think of the negative things at all.
Yeah,
there. It's very removed.
It's very unfazed.
Yeah, it's very unfazed. Yeah, It actually feels kind of homey.
It does. Yeah. Shout out to Fashion Square.
Shout out to Fashion Square. It's a good mall. One thing I want to do one of these days is get a map of it. I've tried to get a copy of it, a picture of it. It's hard to get, but I'd like to frame those.
Nice.
The map of the mall. One thing I really like to do with Metro, and I actually showed you guys on the Discord, join below, I took some cool pictures of Metro at night. I was driving back from, I don't remember where I was coming back from.
Yeah,
but I stopped by, I drove by it. I can't remember what I was doing over there, but I drove past. Once in a while, any excuse to drive by it, I'll drive by it. Just because I'm like, all right, cool. So I go around the Metro Parkway, and I saw some of the neon lights were still on.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'll insert a picture here, but or I won't. Whatever. But anyway, it would be cool to make some prints of those. And it was the neon lights outside one of the Metro entrances on the west side.
That's cool.
Kind of near the theater. And the neon was still on. And I was like, it was kind of faded. Some parts were not working. But I was like, wow, it's so funny. They still turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Even though it's been dead for years.
Wow.
It's like still on, And I took a few pictures of it. And I think that would be a sick framed photo.
When we went into that Dillard's clearance store, that was so otherworldly. I felt like, part of me was like back in 2003.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Maybe earlier.
Yeah.
It had a vibe for sure.
It did have a vibe, yeah.
And what's so weird is like talking to the people there, like that crazy lady that was like the Russian manager.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why do you want a video here? We're not going anywhere. I'm like, lady.
Yeah, I know. It was so clearly like the
this
end.
Place is the end. Like
it was like called the clearance store.
You should be grateful people are trying to take pictures and video.
Yeah.
People that like don't see the value in like the history of it are just nuts.
Yeah,
they're just nuts. I'm like, look, like you're trying to hang on to this little shred of hope that you have in this day job that you have that you're not going to be at in 6 months.
Yeah.
Fuck off. That was like those idiots. I think I said this before, but it still pissed me off. We did a video of Rula Bula or whatever.
Oh yeah.
In Tempe, fuck Mill Avenue.
But
we went there. Not a big fan, but we went there, and it was just this place that a lot of people had gone to. So we're like, hey, we're going to document it for posterity, mostly for other people. I had no attachment to it. But we went in there, and the guys were dicks to us.
Yeah,
we went in, and I was like, "Hey, we did our own recording on our own." I asked,
it was like the last day. Right?
It was the last day it was open. It was gonna be open for like another like 5 hours, and they were closed for good.
Yeah.
And I remember asking one of the guys, I was like, "Hey man, can I bop in the kitchen real quick?" It was like open. It was like just like an area you could just walk in if you wanted. I'm like, "Do you mind if I go in and take some videos?" He's like, "We're really busy, dude." He's like, "No, I prefer you don't." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "Enjoy, not having a job."
Yeah.
But it was one of those where it was like, he was just such a dick about it. Classic Tempe.
Yeah.
And fuck Mill Avenue. But except for the Tempe Improv, great place.
Right.
But everything else, fuck 'em. But it was one of those where I was like, dude, you're being a dick to us, and we're trying to record this place, and like it's gonna be like nothing in a few hours.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right. They don't see the value.
I was like, fuck you, dude. I'm glad you're not working.
Yeah.
But we did end up recording the place anyway. But fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys,
it's important to document things.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Shout out to our buddy Martine.
He was great. He was great on the Cherry Trader vlog.
He was fantastic.
The man behind the camera, great guy.
An awesome guy. But he actually has a YouTube channel. I'll shout it out if you guys want to drop him a subscribe.
Please do that. He's a great guy.
Let's see here. Let me find it.
It's called Martin at YouTube.com.
His channel is... Oh God, this is embarrassing.
No, you don't even have it ready to go.
Alright, his YouTube channel is, first of all, down below. I got a link there. But if you want to follow it, it's AGEVDM. So AgeVDM. AGEVDM. Link below. Right. He did a cool video of his childhood school that just got torn down.
Oh, nice.
And he did a vlog of it, and he said he got some inspiration from some of our mall vlogs and our, Fiesta Mall videos and stuff. So give him a like and subscribe and check him out. Yes. And if you guys have anything in your area, I know Lev Reaction's been documenting some stuff, but if you guys have malls or interesting locations or places that you think might not be around in a few years or a few months, go vlog it. Go check it out. Old hotels. Yeah. Because my thing is, it's like with our audience, it's like there might be things that don't seem that important or interesting in the moment, but maybe it's interesting to you guys on the other side of the country, or on the other side of the world.
Yeah, true.
Or it'll be interesting to us in 5, 6, 7 years down the road.
Yeah, true.
You don't think about it. Like, even when we did that Metro vlog, it was like, we didn't realize that a few years later it was going to be like dead.
Yeah.
We knew it was on the way out, but we didn't know how rapid it would be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of important to do that, and that's my little PSA.
I agree. Yeah, guys, at this point, I'm really itching to do more like paranormal, scary stuff. So please, if you are able to, become just a $1 subscriber of the Patreon, and will help us immensely. I really want to do more shit like this. It's really, really cool.
Yes.
I'm down to go all the way. So please support us if you like our shit, and if you don't, then whatever. Keep watching anyway.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Oh, and also join the go in the Redbubble and get some unfazed shirts. Be a true unfazed crew member. Anyway, guys, nice to be back doing the pods. We love you. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, most importantly. Remain unfazed. Thanks for watching.